Just. The snowflake crept to the edge of the cloud and looked down at all the billions of other snowflakes falling around and away from him, disappearing into the wide, open white far below. Do you remember everything I told you, Flurry? The cloud solidified while sanding and wiping the nerves from the snowflake's perfectly cut edges until they gleamed. Yes, Flurry's voice shook, his eyes glued to the edge. Just tell me one last time, the cloud shined his glassy lines. I'm cut perfectly, Flurry nodded to himself. Yes, and, most importantly, no matter what happens or when, just let go. A very full life will happen for you the way it's supposed to happen, because of the way you are perfectly and uniquely cut, the cloud repeated a lesson. Flurry filled in the end. And it's all fair and just. Well, you will have to find that out. Are you ready? The cloud's voice pushed excitement into the snowflake. Ready, he trembled eagerly. Let go! The cloud's voice drifted up and away as the snowflake dropped into the big white empty. Yee! And off he went. Down, down, down he fell. Or flew. Sometimes he went at an angle. Sometimes he torpedoed straight down. Sometimes he would float. And sometimes he would cartwheel sideways like a Ferris wheel spun off its tracks and launched into the sky. The entire journey was quite a ride. Since the wind had died down, Flurry was in a floating phase when he noticed the ground appearing through the white like a long, dark ghost. His little snowflake heart started pounding. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. He noticed the top of a large tree, and since Flurry was cut a certain way, he moved his body just a little bit, so the wind caught him differently, and he landed on a branch at the very top. He was safe. That big, wide ground looked overwhelming and so far from home. He looked over and saw another snowflake resting on a leaf at the top as well. Are you gonna go down there? Flurry asked the other snowflake. Only if the wind makes me. Otherwise, I'm staying right up here where it's safe, he answered confidently. And you don't think it's safe down there? The other snowflake laughed. Listen, if I'm up here, I know exactly what to expect. Flurry knew he could too. He contemplated for a moment on that high up, safe branch that he stuck his wet flake self to the side of. And then he thought of the cloud. Just let go, the cloud's voice rang in his head. I'm cut perfectly for this, Flurry nodded to himself again that day. He sighed, closed his eyes tightly, let go. Down, down, down he went, floating like a piece of winter cotton on a still day, and floating where the wind wanted him to go. Flurry landed on top of a dry, frozen, cracked flower, wilted from the season. He made it to the ground. His little body beamed a diamond snowflake sparkle on the days the winter sun peeked around the clouds. He glistened with pride and aliveness. I did it! A few months later, when the sun felt closer and a bit more repetitive, and bird noises and dripping seemed to be the main acoustics, Flurry could feel a change coming. He felt it through his body. The sun was beaming through him, and he was afraid to melt with the warm change. I don't know what's happening, his terror cried out. And then he thought of the cloud and what they had worked on. He took a deep breath and reminded himself, just let go. I'm cut perfectly for this. He felt the change in his body. It was tiring. It hurt. He grew sad that everything would change again. Still, he let go. He slowly melted into a drop, slid all the way down the green stem of the flower. He lightly dampened a tiny drop of dirt where the flower came out of the ground and melted underneath, clinging to root. Because his wet body nourished the root, he became part of it. He was the root of a flower now. He was something completely new. As spring melted into warm summer, the heat helped the roots grasp a handful of dirt for support as the stem of the flower tightened, straightened, and stood tall. "I don't know what's happening," Flurry cried out, feeling change pushing him to leave the security of the dirt and poke through the horizon. "Just let go. I'm cut perfectly for this." It was tiring. It hurt. He grew sad that everything would change again. Still, he let go. And then he pushed through the stem and became the bright orange top of the flower. Later on that summer, a soft brown rabbit hopped on over curiously. He sniffed the top of the flower. When the rabbit opened its little mouth and started nibbling at Flurry the flower, he at first panicked, then let go. Cut perfectly, he reminded himself through tiring, hurt, and sadness of another change. He became a rabbit, though. Life was exciting and scary, exhilarating and hard. A constancy of letting go for new. Yet with each change of new, he became stronger. He had a full life as a rabbit and just let go when eaten by a fox. So he became a fox. He had a full life as a fox and just let go when eaten by an eagle. So he became an eagle. While living his full life as the eagle, and when the eagle relieved itself, Flurry just let go and plopped into a bird bath. So he became water. And he had a full life as water and just let go when condensation happened, and he was pulled up high into the sky and became an ever-changing cloud forever. From sky to dirt, to ground to flight, life was up, down, all around. Sure, it was painful at times, and exciting, and overwhelming. And that's when he remembered to just let go, to grow and expand into something bigger. He only got tired when he held on too tight. He only hurt when he resisted. He only got sad when he didn't melt into what he should be. So many things to be in this world. Wow, did he learn to love expanding into new things and new experiences. And the things he saw, yes. Wow. When he was the flower's twisting roots, he watched the respectable push and forward slithers of the blind worm in the pitch dark on a thirsty quest for moisture. When he was a vibrant, popping flower, he watched the lonely, hard work of a buzzing, furry bee as it pollinated in driven solitude to impress a queen far off somewhere. And when he was a hook-beaked eagle with wind in his ears while soaring high above the treetops, he watched the fiery golden sun as it sank itself to sleep under the covers of the horizon into that painted heaven. What an immaculate journey in just letting go. There are billions of snowflakes out there, all cut completely different. For some reason in this life, letting go is the hard part. Later on in life, Flurry learned that his friend, the other snowflake that he met at the top of the tree when he first started his journey, had melted away early in life. Other snowflakes melted so much sooner than the ones that were grounded. Most snowflakes aimed for the lakes and oceans where they could float safely through life. Some pelted and drove hard through life. Some let go and descended softly. Some hit a warm windshield early, and some were smeared away by wipers. Letting go took adjustment, which justified life justice. Flurry was a rolling snowball collecting life along the way, making himself bigger and bigger. There are billions of snowflakes each season and generation, all cut completely different. Not one is the same. Flurry knew that no matter what happened in life or when, to just let go. And then a very full life happened for him the way it was supposed to happen, because of the way he was perfectly and uniquely cut. He learned that you freeze yourself when you hold on too tight, because everything someday thaws. So everything may not be fair, but it is just.